The conversation with Pedro Pascal and his touchy hands and his anxiety have been, being brought back to light ever since a brand new clip from the Fantastic Four came out. This is just an example that I'm about to show you, but we're going to get into the new clip from the Fantastic Four. I guess it was from the showcase or something like that, where he was also getting a little bit touchy, blaming it on his anxiety, and everybody just decided to take that and make it go viral. Again, this is something that people have been bringing up recently, but now, a couple days ago, it's been mega viral. This is what we're going to be talking about today. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle. I am your guy with many YouTube channels. So this was one of the clips from Fearbuck. You can see this post alone got 104.6 million views. Pedro Pascal and married co-star Vanessa Kirby on their Fantastic Four press tour. This is one of the clips that's been going around, and again, we're going to be taking a look at a different one. We've had the internet's reaction showed to us. I don't know what else we're going to get into, so I'm going to give my thoughts. I would love to hear what you guys think down below, and we're also going to get into what the internet had to say about this as well. Okay, so this is one of the clips.
These are gorgeous. I think this is my favorite.
What they're saying honestly doesn't matter. They're talking about they're on the press tour, but Vanessa Kirby is, with Pedro Pascal, always touching him. He's always touching her, and it's because he has anxiety. That's the giveaway. And of course, it's shocking to me that people actually buy this, right? Because we all know that guy that... what's weird about it, though, is it's weird for him specifically to have anxiety, but we all know that guy who's just, like, using excuses to constantly touch women. And I know you might be commenting down below, too. It is also on Vanessa Kirby, okay? People are talking about, like, you don't touch, and I wholeheartedly believe this. You do not touch another man's pregnant wife the way that he is, okay? You don't do that. But it's also on Vanessa Kirby to say, hey, don't touch me. But here's the problem with this as well. There's some power dynamic there, right? Because Pedro Pascal he's deep within the industry. I'm sure the guy has a ton of connections, and he's not a guy that you can just break your bridge with. So I'm not saying that Vanessa Kirby's getting abused or anything like that. It's just, it's understandable where she might not feel comfortable saying, hey, get your hands off me, you freak. Because again, he's got to have the connections. And when you're in this sort of industry, that type of stuff you have to be really, really careful about. But at the end of the day, it is on her as well. But it's just, you don't touch another man's pregnant woman. A lot of people have also been talking about, oh, well, both of them are consenting. What I just said about Vanessa Kirby does still apply, but while I typically think that people make a big deal about nothing, and I would typically be on the internet side of that, like, oh my god, everybody's just trying to cancel someone again. Here we go. We all know this type of guy, right? I don't want to say high IQ. If you understand men, if you're a man yourself, we all know these types of guys that just like to get handsy and use every single excuse in the book. But I got a little bit off track. What people have been saying is like, oh, well, hey, they're both two consenting adults. What do you think? Like, there's absolutely no problem about this. And he suffers from an anxiety. And first, obviously the anxiety isn't true. But secondly, how do you think her husband feels about this? Do you think he's like, heck yeah, Pedro Pascal, touch my pregnant wife? There's the tiniest chance in the world she's married to a cuck, but realistically, he's powerless in this type of situation. I would imagine Vanessa Kirby is a little bit too. So, again, he always needs to have someone touching him, and as if too, like all the pretty girls touching him, and it's a good look in general to have somebody just like having a pretty girl just rubbing your arm or something like that. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. And I know people are talking about, oh my god, this is just what the Fantastic Four is doing. They want to just have the actors be one big family. Nuh-uh. Not buying that, okay? This was another one of the clips that has been going around, and this is the one that really brought the entire conversation to light again, because it was, and I agree with this, he never gets the anxiety and gropes around men, does he? This is the clip that everybody has been talking about. So you have the pregnant Vanessa Kirby over here. Oh my god, sorry, I didn't know there was that volume to that. And he's always got his hands on her. Always. Look at that, man. Look at that. You mean to tell me that just makes him feel comfortable? Come on. I can't. You know what? I sit here and I say I can't believe that people buy this stuff, but then I can, man. I can. Like, we all know this type of guy. We all know him. You think that's okay? Guys, think about it for a second. If this was your girl, would you be okay with this? Think about it that way, literally. It works on both sides too. Any single person in a relationship, guy or girl, would you be okay with someone from the opposite gender doing what Pedro Pascal is doing to your partner? And the answer to that question is no, and don't lie to me in the comment section down below. And yeah, you know what? There might be a couple of you out there who is so addicted to lust that you fell into the cuck category because you've been deeper and deeper going down that rabbit hole, but the vast majority of people feel this way. You do not touch other people's partners that way. And again, I understand the responsibility could fall on Vanessa Kirby too. It's just the industry that they're in. I don't blame her for not speaking up. You know what I mean, okay? And again, don't take that the wrong way. I'm not saying she's getting abused or anything, okay? But let's not just about what I think over here. Let's hear what the internet had to say, okay? Zoe had this to say. Pedro Pascal is the first man to be hated on for being liked. What an opener. What? Pedro Pascal's the first man to be hated on for being liked? I don't even understand what that means, to be honest with you. Pedro Pascal experiencing anxiety. Yeah, I knew what this picture is going to be. I've seen stuff like this floating around like crazy. People have been memeing this to death, guys. They're going to end up at a Coldplay concert. Oh. Ooh. Well, I can tell you one thing. Pedro Pascal absolutely wants to end up at a Coldplay concert. I can tell you that. Pedro convincing hot women he needs to be touched due to anxiety is 40 chess. See, this is what we're talking about here. I can't believe that people actually buy this. I don't understand. You know, we all know those types of guys. And you know what's crazy is typically this game wouldn't work with girls where it's like, oh my God, I just have so much anxiety. And you might get like a little pathetic, arm rub or something one time. Like, oh, you poor thing, you're experiencing anxiety. You might get a hug from the girl who feels bad, But unless you are someone of the status of Pedro Pascal, that game doesn't work. That doesn't make them like you. It might work for him, but it's just, he can get away with it because he's Pedro Pascal. Guys, calm down. Pedro suffers from some type of anxiety disorder. He needs to be touched or be touched by other people to make him calm down and feel comfortable. See? But here's the thing. Like, I know people are responding with this type of stuff, but this is what it is. There's no disorder that requires creepy touch by women only. Exactly. Like, I can't believe that this is something that people are constantly buying. And this, again, look at all the likes that it got. And there's people talking about this all of the time where it's like, guys, you are making fun of Pedro Pascal too much. I can't believe people are trying to cancel Pedro Pascal for having anxiety. Like, what's crazy about this too is the internet is so quick to jump on somebody for like canceling them for the stupidest reason of all time. The stupidest reasons. But for some reason, one case where it actually might be justified, a bunch of people are coming to his defense. This world is so beyond backwards, man. It's weird to me. I've seen this one. Hollywood actress and Pedro Pascal. He's feeling anxious. Oh, I love it, man. I love it. Look, I'm married and my wife does this stuff with all of her friends and coworkers. It's harmless. Sometimes she even spends the night, but what's marriage without trust? Oh no, people are responding to it not knowing it's satire. Oh boy. Yeah, like, again, nobody should be touching other people that way. I have anxiety in public. Move. Yeah, literally though. Could you imagine if he came out and he's like, I actually need a little bit more than just touching my arm. I have severe anxiety. The only thing that will calm me down is if all the women in my vicinity jerk me off. Again, I know it's a joke, but like, this is what it's like, man, okay? Women that move and act like this the majority of the time are doing the dirt. If she feels comfortable doing that in interviews, she's doing way more behind the scenes. I mean, like, that's always possible, but I mean, that's a massive generalization right there. I'm more on the side of, I think we should be worrying that she might be uncomfortable saying, hey, don't touch me. I err more on that side, but I do understand what he's saying. If my wife does this with her coworker, I'd kill myself in a public space. This I agree with. I have a very, very good temperament, okay? I have a very good temperament, but if this ever happened to me, but first of all, my wife would be the type, and no matter who it is, my wife, and this is why I love her so much, she'd be the first person to say, do not touch me, what are you doing? The first person to say that. I adore her, she's the best girl in the entire world. But if this ever did happen to me, I would end it. I wouldn't live it down. That would literally stick with me until the end of time, man. I'm sure MFers in here talking about you're insecure if you'd be upset at your wife doing this. Ask yourself this question. Would your wife be okay with you doing this with another woman? The answer is no. That's a very well-structured answer. I said something similar at the beginning of the video, but I think that this presented it very well. Yeah. You know what's funny is I keep meaning to make a video on this of all the buzzwords and like, usually when you hear the word insecure thrown around, and this is why I actually hate using the word insecure, because so many low IQ people use the word insecure way too much and just to justify their argument when they had just presented the worst case of all time to you, where it's like, oh my God, you're just insecure, right? Usually I see that word and I'm like, oh, okay, so I can completely dismiss everything that you believe in. And that's not every case, but you know what I mean? You have these little like buzzwords that it's to the point where I hate using the word insecure now, but Demo is completely correct in what he had to say over here. Fit Dad CEO had this to say: God, you people are so weird. Your obsession with hating on people when they reach a certain level of success is gross. I usually agree with this type of thing. And I'm sure that I have many videos on the channel, like backing up what I just said there. Usually when a bunch of people are like dogging on people on the internet, it really comes from a place of jealousy. People being so upset, like subconsciously upset with their own lives and how they're not going to amount to anything, that they constantly hate on anybody once they become even just a little bit of success, find a little bit of success in their life. Usually that's the case. But this I look at and I go, oh my God, this dude's being a creep. Why is he constantly touching girls? You know, that's how I feel about it. Usually, and this is what I was talking about when it was so weird. It's so weird that the one time everybody wants to take somebody down, we're all like, guys, come on, he has anxiety, okay? Brian Rodriguez had this to say: he gives off that fake feminist vibe so he can be around girls and accepted. He smooths his way into their lives and acts like he was one of them just to get sex. Women, for some reason, fall for it. It's like that overly friendly guy in a women group where you can tell that he's acting. See, but this is the thing, like, we all know these types of guys. We all know the male feminists, and we all know their true intentions. We all know the overly friendly guy. These people exist. And obviously these people exist, but you know, a lot of guys, if they've had any little bit of life experience and they have a decent head on their shoulders, they can just tell, like, by eyeballing them what they're up to. Because newsflash, men want sex and they'll do anything to get that, okay? Pedro, oh, this is the clip that I wanted to talk about, okay? Pedro Pascal suffers from anxiety when he's nervous and needs to touch someone to calm down. Now, this is the clip that we reacted to last time, and I've seen this going around a million times, okay? And it doesn't really matter with what I'm about to say because the other clips are real. I keep hearing that this clip's AI. I don't see it personally, but oh my God, I just tried to mute that. I keep hearing that this clip's AI, but I don't know if it is or if it isn't. It could just be a bunch of people like, and I mean, I'm not doubting like that it's AI. AI is so good now, but it could just also just be a bunch of people who like Pedro Pascal are saying, oh my God, that clip's AI, but it doesn't really matter because the other clips justify that. But it's crazy, man. Pretty soon, oh man, wars are going to get started with that stuff, dude. Doing this with another man while you're pregnant and engaged is diabolical. Agreed. Like but then again, like I also put it on the responsibility of the guy a little bit because you're getting with a girl in the acting industry. She's going to kiss people and she's going to build strong relationships with people that she worked with. I question whether that's the case with this specific scenario, but at some point you gotta have the responsibility fall on yourself. Y'all are so weird. Okay, now this is another thing that I wanted to talk about, right? Typically, I absolutely agree with this meme, right? I throw it, I mean, I don't personally post it, but people throw it around and I'm like, yep, that's literally it. A bunch of weirdos on Twitter, right? I consent, I don't. Again, I spoke about it already, but it's the specific industry that they're in. And Pedro Pascal isn't exactly someone you can break a bridge with. Nothing good would come from, hey, creep, how about you stop touching me? I don't believe you and your BS anxiety. Nothing good would come from that. You could lose opportunity. You could lose finance in the future. Suddenly men are concerned about women getting touched. Most of us usually are. Most normal people respect women. Most normal people want to protect women. Most people see through these guys and what they're bringing up to the table. Everybody online seems to act like men just do not care about consent. Me alone. Pedro Pascal with anxiety. Yeah, most people with anxiety don't go around having people touch them. Pedro Pascal, when he starts to feel anxious. Dude, I know it's getting meme now and it is a serious topic of conversation now, but we're going to get to this level pretty soon, man. But if you want to talk more about this topic, I did make a video on it the first time that it was getting thrown around Twitter. I would love to have you guys over there. Thank you very much for watching. Take care, guys.